Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
Hi guys, it's Danny back again. Thanks for watching. Today's video is about putting up our Absco shed, and it was not before time. Our little shed was almost 30 years old. It's a 3x3 meter Stratco. I think we put up and it was 1994, and yeah, it had seen better days. It was full of a lot of junky stuff that had accumulated. So one day David just pulled it down. We thought it was time. And he started pulling the pavers up. That actually was the floor that we had in the shed, because what we used to do with that shed, well, David multiple times actually moved it from one side of the yard to the other, probably about 3 times. I don't know why, but that's what happened. My sister actually joked that we should have put it on wheels. This is the shed that we bought. It's the Absco shed, 3x3 meter. It's actually the same size as the one we're replacing, but it's a nice colour bond colour that is nice and modern. So the first thing we did was to actually put the base down, and we decided to put a slab down, so we boxed it up. We used untreated pine. It was 90mm, I think 9 centimeters high, and made the shed about 3.1 by 3.1 meters. Just made sure it was level, and it was level that way, but from the back to the front actually sloped down, which was good, because if any water got into it, it would sort of drain off. Yeah, and we just put supports in. And so we decided to lay the concrete ourselves, and the reason we did that was because we'd had a lot of rain, and we were a little bit scared that the cement truck would slide down the hill on the way in. That did actually happen to my son's ute and my daughter's car when they were driving around the back. Slid down the hill and they both had to be towed out, so we didn't want to do anything like that. We didn't want to have a cement truck here for hours. That would have cost an absolute fortune, so we decided to do it ourselves. So that's the concrete we used. It was from Bunnings. We actually paid $7.30 per bag. It wasn't a fast setting concrete, it was just the normal type. We didn't want anything that set too rapidly. So we actually put a bit of crack at us down. Looking at that, it's probably a little bit too much. Probably didn't need that much crush at us, but that's what we used. And then we just separated the slab into 4 bits, and we just did them bit by bit. It was quite a wet mixture, which was good. It was easy to spread out. I mean, it was actually fun to do, actually. It was like I was a kid again playing in the dirt. And it's pretty satisfying to watch at the same time too. It actually turned out, I think, a little bit cheaper, even though it's a little bit more work and more time consuming. Turned out a bit cheaper because we were quoted around about $500 for a truck to come in. One person quoted us $800 for the slab. This cost us, well, I've got the breakdown. I put the breakdown up on the screen. This was actually funny. David wanted to sort of to make the surface a bit more even, so he said, "Do you have an old paint roller?" And he just rolled over it with that, and it sort of did make it a little bit more even. But no, the slab turned out really well. It's a bit patchy, but look, who's going to see it anyway? It was sort of rewarding to do. It was fun to do. So this video is really about putting the Absco shed up. We had some issues with it. I'm not saying everyone will, it could just have been us, but every step along the way there was some issue that we had. We're not builders, we're pretty hopeless at putting things together, but we know there are a lot of people out there who are like that. And a lot of the videos don't troubleshoot, so this video will troubleshoot a lot of the things that we faced when putting this shed up, and there actually seemed to be one thing after another thing when we were going through it. In the end, everything turned out fine. We absolutely love our shed. I hope you enjoy. Today we're starting to put up the shed finally. We've had the slab done. I've shown you how we've done that. It's been very atypical, I guess you could say. We never got a truck in to do it, we just did it bit by bit, but that's fine, it'll end up being fine. Yeah, so we're opening the actual boxes today and we're going to start putting it up, and keep our fingers crossed it all works out. Okay, so let's get started. So this is a colour, it's called Monument, which is like a charcoaly sort of black colour, which I really like. I don't think there's too much to it. David and Nikki are laying the pieces out. Nikki will be in charge of the instructions. Yeah, so there are all the screws and bolts and things that will be needed. I think these will be more to bolt the shed into the slab. There's some other bolts and bits and pieces. It's very complicated, but I think if we just don't rush and we take our time, it should all be fine. So this is the middle of the roof section that has been screwed together. The next part we will be doing is the roof, and these are the sides of the roof. So that piece I just showed you will go down the middle. These I think will overlap and screw in together, and these will be the channels along the side, along this side here. And there's probably ones along the front too. We might do that tomorrow. David's just going to have a look at a YouTube video that explains how to do it, and yeah, we'll get started again in the morning. Dave is working on the roof panels. We actually put the side channels on upside down. We're meant to have the small part at the top and the big part at the bottom. So he's just fixing that. Tempers were rising a little towards the end of yesterday, so we had a break, had a nice rest, and we'll get stuck into it this morning. So this is one panel of the roof. So we had to take the side channels off and put them back on. I think I've done that a few times actually, but got there eventually. One tip I think is not just to go by the instruction sheet. Go and look up on some YouTube videos on how to install it, because they go into a bit of greater detail and tell you things that the instruction booklet doesn't really tell you. But once these are done, we can start on the side panels. So we managed to get the channels to join in the middle of the sides, which is good.
It's actually easy with the drill.
Okay, so that's one side panel done. Once one's done, it's sort of easier to do the next one because we sort of know what we're doing. So this is the second one. Did you want a cup of coffee?
We might put this panel together.
Okay. Yeah, that one's pretty good. It might be this one that needs to come up a bit. Yeah, that's good. And you could probably hammer it in a bit, like, if you know what I mean. Like, hammer it down. Maybe just hammer it in a bit more. Oh, don't know.
It's not going to go any more down, that'll hurt.
No. So we accidentally put the
don't put that on.
channels on, well, these holes were meant, on the side here, were meant to go in the middle. So this channel was meant to go on the other side and that channel was meant to go on this side. But instead of taking it off, which is really hard and pretty much impossible to do, David's just drilled holes in and it should be fine.
Oh, I don't know.
We'll see.
Well, it's going to have to be.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
So both side panels are done. The next will be the front door side panels. No. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, but it
Yeah.
goes underneath it, I think.
You sure?
Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah. So this is the door, I think. I'm not sure if it's the top or the bottom. We haven't figured that out yet, but that little channel goes, sort of slots through there, like that. I think we have to move this screw over, because if you have a look at that, it's going crooked. So we'll just have to unscrew that and put it in there so we can fit this into here.
Holes don't really line up very well at all. Could you
If you can get a few holes to line up, the others should. Nikki's cleaning up. I told her not to, but she won't stop. Thank you, Nikki.
over
Yeah.
these bits.
Yeah.
That one's under.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's got to go under.
Yeah, just swap.
So, yeah. And maybe that top one.
This one?
Yeah, and both sides. Like
I think, yeah. But it's just because it's kind of going
Sitting
like that
up.
on an angle.
yeah.
Screwed it in.
We're having a meltdown.
This is right, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah.
The hinges are the right way. So this is the only way they can go.
It would have taken over a full day to just assemble these panels for us. It's meant to be one of the easiest sheds to construct, but I think we'd disagree with that. It was sort of difficult, and you definitely need to watch, I think, some videos on it. Well, the instructions aren't all that great or detailed, like they'll give you the bare minimum. I think they sort of assume that you know what you're doing and you can build things, which we haven't, but I mean, everything looks really good. Tomorrow though, we'll put it all up, and hopefully that won't take too long. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.
I'm gonna have to get you out here now, darling. Fucking the camera. Just come and hold this one. Okay.
Well, that was an ordeal, as you just saw. It was very traumatic. This side all bent down and buckled, but David managed to fix it at the top. I mean, I'm so pleased we got it to this point. But yeah, it was very traumatic. Oh my goodness. I'd advise more than 2 people. We had to get Georgia out to hold it at some stage. Do you want to just move it over a bit? The slab's just big enough. We made it 3.1, but by the time the wood sort of took up a little bit of space, it sort of made it a bit smaller, if that makes sense. It is hard to get things lined up. You know, just so many of the so-called pre-punched holes didn't line up, and they make it look so easy on the instruction videos, but if we had to do it again, probably figure it out a bit easier. So we slid the roof on the second panel. We're just having a problem getting it into the channel. We did on this side and David screwed it in, but as you go along you can see that it's not actually in the channel here. That's got to be inside here. And as you get to the end, this is an even bigger gap. So that's what we're trying to do at the moment, is try to fit it into the channel, and we can screw it all down. So this is what David's had to do to try to get the channel into the groove. It's just not going in, so he's had to use clamps and then screw it in. It seems to be working, but it's going to take a bit of effort clamping it in, but as we go along it seems to be going through okay. Here the screws aren't in again, they sort of pop out. See this side, and that has to be screwed in. That's not a problem. Otherwise water will come through. We've had to do that on the other side as well. Yeah, just keep. Yeah, that's it. So David's just screwing the screws in and attaching the roof to the side here. But if you have a look, you see how flush that is. And you come over here on this side, there seems to be a big gap, and I'm just not sure why. Whether we've put that on wrong. We'll just have to see, because if we screw the screw in there, it's not going to reach there on the other side. So David's just going to have a look and see how he can fix it, or what we've actually done wrong, if anything. At the time we didn't think we'd done anything wrong. That might be better. So you can see how far that's sticking out compared to this side here, and we have no idea why. We're thinking that the side might have been shorter or something. Don't know. David's cut the edge of the roof panel with tin snips, and it fits nice now, nice and even. It's not sticking out like it was before. So we just finished putting the bolts in the floor. We put 2 at the front near the door and 2 at this on each side. We haven't put any at the back, but there are some left over. It's just getting late and we're tired. We're really pleased with how it's come up. It was just a real effort. It was harder than we thought, and it was a lot harder than they say on the videos, but in the end it's a great result. Really pleased with our slab. It's just the right size. What I want to do is put like a little garden along the side here, maybe put flowers or like a little hedge or something like that. I think that would be pretty. So it's the next day, the day after we've finally put the shed up. We had rain overnight. This morning David came out to check it because he was really worried that it wouldn't be watertight, mainly from the roof, like because there's a lot of screws in the roof. But we had a look and some water did come in, but if you can see through where the shed attaches to the cement or the concrete, there are some gaps because we didn't do it very evenly. What we're going to do is get some silicone though and run it along the edges on the inside and the outside. So it's all been bolted down, it's all secure in that way, and no water actually came through the roof. The bike and the mower was completely dry. So yeah, it's just coming through the little gaps in the bottom. So if we silicone that, it should all be fine.